Horrific proposal photo, my husband's dark secret exposed. The proposal photo that shattered my marriage. This is my husband. It just looks like him, that's all. I never thought juggling cameras. But here I am, a freelance photographer with a life that's always a click away from chaos. Translation. Just a photo of a man proposing to a woman. This is my husband. It just looks like him, that's all. I never thought juggling cameras. But here I am, a freelance photographer with a life that's always a click away from chaos. The photo is just that of a guy proposing to a girl. That's my man, you see. I mean, they just look the same. Never anticipated working with so many cameras. But, here I am. A photographer in freelance with a life that's one bad photograph away from collapse. The proposal photo that shattered my marriage. My world is a precarious balancing act, a high-wire performance where one wrong click can send everything crashing down. My name is Sarah, and I'm a freelance photographer perpetually caught between the demands of my art and the needs of my family. My husband, Mike, is a high-powered sales rep, a man whose ambition has slowly eclipsed our shared life. He's always on the go, a fleeting presence in our home, a ghost at our dinner table. Mama, have you seen my math book? My daughter, Lily, asks, her voice a familiar plea. Probably under the mountain of clothes in your room, I reply, already anticipating the chaos I'll find. Mom, can you sign this form for my field trip? My son, Max, chimes in, waving a crumpled permission slip in my face. Sure, just give me a sec, I mutter, precariously balancing my camera in one hand and the form in the other. As the kids scatter, I hear the front door open and close. Mike's signature entrance, a brief and often unnoticed event. His presence has become a mere cameo in the drama of our daily life. Hey, Mike, how was your day? I ask, knowing the response before he even speaks. Same old, same old. Got another trip tomorrow, he replies, his eyes glued to his phone, his voice devoid of emotion. I was thinking maybe this weekend we could do something as a family. You know, take the kids out or something, I suggest, a sliver of hope clinging to my words. Yeah, maybe? I'll see how it goes, he says, already dismissing the idea, already choosing his work over us. I bite back the frustration, the resentment that threatens to boil over. Filling in the blanks of his absence has become my specialty. The evening continues its relentless march, dinner, homework, bedtime stories, then finally, a sliver of quiet. I retreat to the porch, my camera my only companion, and attempt to capture the night sky. It's my moment of peace, a brief respite from the whirlwind of my life. But who am I kidding? Even in these quiet moments, the question lingers, when will things change? When will he change? As I head back inside, I make a mental note to check my schedule for next week. My life as a freelance photographer is never predictable, but nothing could have prepared me for the agonizing discovery that was about to shatter my world. It was just another Wednesday morning. The sun was shining, but my mind was consumed by upcoming projects and looming deadlines. Come on, Buster, let's make this quick. Mommy's got a ton of editing to do, I muttered to our dog, trying to hurry him along. As we rounded the corner near the park, he lunged forward, pulling the leash with such force that I lost my balance and crashed onto the unforgiving pavement. Buster, stop, I yelled. But he was too busy chasing a stray cat to notice my plight. I tried to get up, but a searing pain shot through my leg. Great, I thought. Just what I needed. Limping back home, I dialed Mike's number, the frustration already building. Hey, I think I hurt my leg. Can you come home early? I'm in a meeting, his voice was curt, laced with irritation. I just fell. It's not like I'm calling for fun. I snapped, the dam finally breaking. Fine, I'll see what I can do, he grumbled before hanging up. After what felt like an eternity, I finally made it home. The diagnosis was a fractured leg. Weeks of immobility. The logistical nightmare was already taking shape in my mind. Mike finally arrived home hours later, his face etched with impatience. This is a real mess, Sarah. How long until you're back on your feet? A few weeks. It's not like I planned this. My patience snapped, the weight of his lack of enthusiasm crushing me. The kids, surprisingly, stepped up. Lily took over some of the chores, and Max even tried to minimize his usual chaos. Mom, can I get you anything? Lily asked, her voice laced with concern. Just some peace would be nice, I replied with a tired smile. Days bled into weeks. I was trapped at home, a prisoner in my own house, while Mike was out most of the time. The loneliness was suffocating. In a desperate attempt to distract myself, I delved deeper into online photography forums. Little did I know, this decision would unravel everything I thought I knew about my life. Scrolling through endless galleries of beautiful images, I almost forgot the throbbing pain in my leg. Almost. Then, one evening, a particular photo caught my eye. A man proposing to a young woman. The scene was picturesque, but it was the man in the photo who froze me in place. He looked exactly like Mike. It can't be, I whispered, my heart pounding in my chest. It just looks like him. That's all. But the more I stared, the more I couldn't deny the unsettling feeling that gnawed at my gut. It was more than just a passing resemblance. Driven by a desperate need to know the truth, I messaged the photographer, a woman named Jenna. "Hi Jenna, I came across your photo of the marriage proposal. Can you tell me more about it? Where was it taken?" Jenna replied quickly. "Sure, that was taken in Riverdale. Why do you ask?" I hesitated, unsure how to explain my suspicion without sounding completely unhinged. I was just curious. "The man in the photo looks a lot like someone I know." I waited, my anxiety building with each passing second. But instead of a reply, silence. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every time Mike came home, I scrutinized him, searching for any sign of guilt, any hint of betrayal. But he was his usual detached self, buried in his phone or laptop, his emotions shielded behind a wall of indifference. One evening, I couldn't bear the uncertainty any longer. "Mike, have you ever been to Riverdale on your business trips?" I asked, trying to sound casual, my voice trembling despite my efforts. "Yeah, a few times," he replied, not even bothering to look up from his phone. "No reason. Just asking," I said, my voice barely a whisper. The uncertainty was consuming me. I had to know. "Jenna, I need to know. The man in your proposal photo. Can you send me more shots of him? I think he might be my husband." This time, she hesitated. "I'm sorry, I can't do that," I pleaded with her, explaining my situation, my growing suspicions. After what felt like an eternity, she relented. "I understand. I'll send you a few more shots, but please keep this between us." And then, there it was, the damning proof, photo after photo. Mike, down on one knee, holding a ring, gazing adoringly at a woman I had never seen before. A woman who was clearly not me. I sat there, paralyzed, tears streaming down my face, my world crumbling around me. I never imagined myself as the kind of woman who would hire a private investigator, but desperation had driven me to this point. I handed Rick the pie, photos of Mike and a list of the cities he frequented. "I need to know what he's doing on these trips. I'll track his movements, but it's going to take some time." "Are you okay with that?" Rick asked. I was far from okay, but I nodded. "I need the truth, no matter how painful." As Rick delved into his investigation, I was forced to play a role I never wanted, the oblivious wife pretending that everything was normal. Mike, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing, continued his business trips, continued his lies. His wardrobe underwent subtle changes, new shoes, expensive ties. Then there were the phone calls, whispered conversations held behind closed doors. I tried to catch snippets of his deceit, but all I could hear was the muffled sound of his voice. I watched him, searching for traces of the man I had married, but with each passing day, he seemed more like a stranger. How long had he been living this double life, right under my nose? Even Lily, ever perceptive, noticed the shift in our household. "Mom, is everything okay with you and Dad?" she asked one night, her brow furrowed with concern. "Everything's fine, sweetie. Just a lot on my mind with work," I lied, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. But it wasn't fine. The man I shared my bed with, the father of my children, was a phantom, a fabrication. I felt like a fool, a pawn in his elaborate game. I found myself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, piecing together the lies, the half-truths, the carefully constructed facade. Had I been naive, too trusting, too wrapped up in my own world to see the truth staring me in the face? One evening, as I watched him leave for another business trip, it struck me how easy it is to deceive someone who trusts you completely. I reflected on our years together, wondering when the lies began, when the rot set in. Weeks passed, and Rick finally called. "We need to meet," his voice was grave. I found quite a bit. "Are you sure you're ready for this?" I wasn't sure of anything anymore, but I nodded. We met at a quiet cafe, and he slid a thick envelope across the table. Receipts, photos, detailed reports. Each piece of evidence was like a knife twisting in my heart. In each city, there was a different woman, a different life. A sickening mix of anger, sadness, and betrayal washed over me. How could he do this? How long had he been living this lie? I paid Rick, barely speaking, and left the cafe, the weight of the truth crushing me. I realized that all this while, I had been living with my eyes closed, refusing to see the man Mike had become, clinging to the image of the husband I thought I knew. Now, with my eyes wide open, I saw everything with horrifying clarity. Holding on to the truth about Mike's infidelities was like keeping a storm trapped inside me. I knew I couldn't let him off easy. He deserved more than just a simple confrontation. He deserved a reckoning. I wanted to deliver a surprise, one that would shatter his carefully constructed world and leave him reeling. As the days passed, Mike remained blissfully unaware, thinking he was clever, thinking he was getting away with his deception. But he didn't know that I was now playing the game too. I refused to tip my hand, pretending that everything was normal, while secretly planning my revenge. I spent hours plotting, ensuring that every detail was perfect. I watched him, studied him, his lies grating on my nerves. Finally, everything was in place. All I had to do was wait for the right moment to unleash the storm. As I lay in bed that night, the phrase revenge is a dish best served cold echoed in my mind. This wasn't just about revenge, though. It was about reclaiming my life, about exposing his deceit, about showing him the true consequences of his actions. I cooked his favorite meal, set the table with our best china, and even wore the dress he always said he liked. It was all a facade, a stage set for the final act. "What's all this for?" he asked, a slight smile playing on his lips, completely oblivious to the impending doom. "Just felt like doing something special," I replied, my voice steady despite the pounding of my heart. We sat down, talked about mundane things. While I bided my time, waiting for the signal, the doorbell rang. That was my cue. "Can you get that, honey?" I asked, my heart hammering in my chest. Mike, still unsuspecting, walked to the door. I heard his footsteps, his casual greeting, and then silence, followed by a strangled gasp. "What are you doing here?" I walked to the doorway, and there they were. The woman from the photos, and her parents, their faces etched with anger and disbelief. The look on Mike's face was priceless, a mixture of fear, confusion, and utter devastation. "What is this?" he stammered. "This is me giving you a taste of your own medicine," I said, my voice cold and unwavering. The woman, tears streaming down her face, cried out, "You said you loved me. You said we were going to be together." Her parents erupted in fury, their voices rising in anger. "You've been living a lie." "Mike has been living a lie, with all the proof I need right here," I said, holding up the envelope Rick had given me. Mike's face went from red to pale. He looked at me, his eyes pleading, searching for something, anything. "Sarah, you're wrong, you're a liar." The room was filled with shouting, accusations flying. Mike tried to explain, to apologize, but it was too late. The truth was out, and there was no going back. As the woman and her parents stormed out, he looked at me, his eyes hollow. He didn't argue, didn't plead. He just packed a few things and left, leaving me standing there, amidst the ruins of our shattered life. The following days were a blur of legal proceedings, tearful conversations with my children, and the overwhelming emptiness of a home that was once filled with laughter and love. I filed for divorce, determined to fight for what my children and I deserved. One day, while going through old boxes, I found a photo of Mike and me on our wedding day. We looked so young, so hopeful, so blissfully unaware of the betrayal that awaited us. "Mom, why did Dad do this?" Lily asked, her voice filled with confusion and hurt. I put the photo down and looked at my children. "Sometimes, people make bad choices, sweetie, but it doesn't mean they don't love you." The divorce was finalized, leaving me with a mix of relief and a profound sense of loss. I focused on my photography, throwing myself into my work as a way to heal, to rebuild, to find myself again. One evening, Lily came to me, her face alight with pride. "Mom, guess what? I won first place in the art competition." "I'm so proud of you, honey," I exclaimed, hugging her tightly. Max, too, was thriving. He had found a passion for soccer and was making new friends on the team. "Mom, you should come to my game this Saturday. I might score a goal," he said, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. Life with the kids was busy, filled with school events, soccer games, and the comforting routine of our new reality. We were a team, the three of us, facing each day with resilience and hope. As for Mike, I heard snippets of his downfall through the grapevine. The women he had deceived had banded together, filing a collective lawsuit against him. The scandal had spilled over into his work, tarnishing his reputation and leaving him a pariah in the business world. One evening, as I sat editing photos, the pain of betrayal, the turmoil of the divorce, seemed like a distant memory. I had found a strength I didn't know I possessed. I had rebuilt my life, brick by painstaking brick. My friend and neighbor, Martha, stopped by for a visit. "How are you holding up, Sarah?" she asked, her eyes filled with genuine concern. "I'm doing okay," I replied, a sense of contentment washing over me. "Better than okay. That's great to hear. You know, you've really inspired me with your strength," Martha said, her voice sincere. We chatted for a while, talking about work, life, and everything in between. It was nice to have a friend who understood my journey, who had witnessed my pain and celebrated my resilience. As Martha left, laughter filling the air, I realized that the hardships I had faced had not defined me. Instead, they had forged me into something stronger, something more authentic. And for now, that was more than enough. Now that you've heard my story, I'm left wondering if I handled things the right way. I know my methods were extreme, but was it justified given the circumstances? Did I go too far in exposing Mike's deceit, or did he deserve every bit of the pain he experienced? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. What would you have done in my situation? Please share your perspective. I'm genuinely curious to know if you think I made the right choices.